Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. It's certainly true that Ripple has been voluntarily giving up power over the XRP ledger itself. And why is that the case? Conceptually, as one XRP community member put it, it's like giving up veto power. So I'm going to run through this. I got a couple stories related to this topic. And then I'm going to wrap up the video with some Ripple Spring news here. Take a look at this piece from AMB Crypto. Ripple Spring to invest in BRD wallet. It seems like literally every single day there's some sort of new Spring investment that I have the pleasure of reporting to you. I remember just yesterday, there was literally one yesterday. And I was lamenting the fact, I was like, okay, all the titles that I have, this new Spring investment, all the titles I have for my videos, people are going to mistakenly think I'm putting, or that it's the same video they just saw. But no, it is the case that there are brand new Spring investments on a rather regular basis, I would say. But anyway, before we get going here, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's a pretty good idea. Check out this tweet from AllTheWay08 on Twitter here to kick this off. Everything that has happened from the CFTC heads speaking on Yahoo Finance, the joint SEC/CFTC/FinCEN statement, and the clarity around Ethereum point to decentralization being the key to success for any crypto project. You don't have to start that way, but you better get that way. And so, by the way, quickly, Avery says quickly, and that goes back to something that I've said a few times on this channel. You may or may not have heard me state this, but what's interesting conceptually about cryptocurrencies, it's an entirely new type of animal that didn't come from nature, right? Before this, there was nothing else out there that was like this, because what's fascinating to me is that you can have an asset that maybe upon launch is indeed a security, but over time with sufficient decentralization, it can then be stated quite accurately that perhaps that asset is no longer a security. It's too decentralized. There's no entity controlling it, right? And so that's why existing regulations, you can't shoehorn cryptocurrencies into the existing regulatory framework. You cannot do it. Not if you want to do it cleanly. It's certainly quite messy, and it just frankly doesn't work. You're not taking into account the unique nature of crypto, and that it can frankly change. It really can. From centralized to decentralized, that's a strong indication of to what degree, what way it should be regulated. And there's the concept of what real-world instances are there in which cryptocurrencies are being used. Perhaps that should also affect the way in which a particular cryptocurrency is regulated. And so, to me, that tweet makes a ton of sense. And then AllTheWay08 continues here. Every single voice is saying that now, almost in unison. This is how the Libra threat will be stopped. This is also probably why Ripple rebranded their suite of software products and why they will need to lose their veto power. You can't exchange securities. An asset needs to be considered a commodity to function as a medium of exchange. Any project lacking that decentralization is being put on notice by the SEC, CFTC, and FinCEN, in my opinion. And I think that's very well stated. And he tagged Galgatron and he tagged me, so I wanted to run through this. I think that's insightful. I agree with it, and I think you're coming at it from the correct approach, AllTheWay08. So I'm glad you put that out there into the Twitter sphere for sure. So Libra, that's a whole different type of thing. Now, stablecoin is fundamentally different than a decentralized cryptocurrency. I mean, basically, my opinion is that Libra is basically fiat currency. It really is. It just moves in a different way, and it's backed by multiple currencies. But effectively, it's doing the same thing as just fiat currency. I don't know what blockchain is particularly adding to the situation. Really, I would love to see the case made, like why it actually matters there. Let me go ahead and hop into this now. And by the way, I covered this on the channel the other day. I'm going to be real quick about this because some of you know, but in case you haven't, this is relevant. So this is a tweet from Galgatron. He tweeted out, that moment when your baby's all grown up and leaves for college, the XRP ledger is now officially indisputably 100% decentralized. Ripple no longer has veto/stopping power. The ledger belongs to the world now. And here you can see there's a screen grab, 80% non-Ripple validators, the default UNL dominance. Very cool stuff. And then writes, understandably, while we sit in the range of 80%, will waffle back and forth when the occasional validator goes offline, but it's mostly a symbolic line that we're on, and it will safely recede into the distance with each new validator. All right, check out this piece now. And this is what was referenced in that tweet from all the way away. Ether is a commodity just like Bitcoin, says CFTC Chairman. Now, I mentioned this the other day, but I want to make sure the table's properly set since we're talking about this. I just want to quickly run through it. The U.S. government has recently been easing its regulatory grip on the crypto ecosystem. Adding to the ongoing acceptance toward cryptocurrency, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC Chairman, Heath Tarbert, publicly shared his belief that Ether is a commodity. Tarbert featured at Yahoo Finance's All Market Summit, where he said, quote, "We've been very clear on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a commodity. We haven't said anything about Ether until now. It is my view as chairman of the CFTC that Ether is a commodity." And so there you go, and that's progress on the regulatory front. Now take a look at this. Chief of SEC, FinCEN, and CFTC issue warning for digital asset operators. The heads of top U.S. financial regulators issued a joint statement warning digital asset business operators to abide by the banking laws of the United States. The statement was signed by the leaders of the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, it's FinCEN, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. The statement warned businesses dealing with digital assets to comply with the Bank Secrecy Act, BSA, which includes regulatory guidelines for anti-money laundering, AML, and man, there's a lot of acronyms here, and countering financing of terrorism, CFT. Under the U.S. regulations, any asset that qualifies as securities, commodities, and security or commodity-based derivative products are considered as digital assets. The joint statement also noted that the nature of the digital assets would determine which regulators the businesses need to register with, and cited an example as well. Now here's a quote. For example, the AML/CFT activities of a futures commission merchant will be overseen by the CFTC, FinCEN, and the National Futures Association, NFA. Those of a money service business will be overseen by FinCEN, and those of a broker-dealer in securities will be overseen by the SEC, FinCEN, and a self-regulatory organization, primarily the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, which is FINRA. I gotta tell, I don't think that I've had a single article that has anywhere, like in this, the entire nearly 10 months I've been running this channel, I don't think I've had one article that has nearly as many acronyms as this, which I find kind of comical anyway. But look, this is, to me, this article makes me think about something that Brad Garlinghouse said in one of his 25 million interviews that he had over the past week. Man, he's really been out there lately. And at one point, he was talking about how the endpoints, whether you're the sender or the receiver of currency as it pertains to cross-border payments, both endpoints, the regulation's already in place. There's no change there whether you use a cryptocurrency as a bridge currency or not. That's already perfectly set. In fact, Ripple, as it pertains to customer information on either end, Ripple doesn't have that information. In fact, Brad Garlinghouse, he said in the interview, it might have been the one with Pompliano, I'm trying to think, but he said, we don't necessarily have that information. And then he says, just to be clear, the reason that I said that is because I'm having trouble even thinking of an instance in which we would have that information, because they don't. Banks like to banks are very conservative entities, and that's, I tell you, in terms of adoption of this technology, something that could not be more paramount is them retaining control over the information of their particular clients. And so again, XRP doing what it does, it literally is just a bridge currency, but in terms of KYC and AML, all that is still indeed in place. Nothing has changed whatsoever, and Ripple's made it very clear, of course, that they seek to be the adults in the room and to comply with regulations and work with regulators to move regulatory clarity forward, ideally in a much more prompt manner than it would otherwise unfold. So there you go. Let's head into this next piece now. Ripple spring to invest in BRD wallet. BRD, a cryptocurrency wallet, has reportedly received $750,000 investment from blockchain payments firm Ripple to boost the adoption of its XRP cryptocurrency. The investment was powered by Ripple's Spring program, which intends to allow BRD to build on the XRP ledger and integrate XRP into its Android and iOS wallet apps. The expected integration will enable BRD users to buy, sell, hold, and send XRP across the world. Here we go, Crypto Media. It says, on of the sources. They're missing the letter E. They mean one of the sources. But again, Crypto Media, I'm not convinced that there's one freaking article in Crypto Media that doesn't have a minimum of 3 errors. I'm being a little facetious, but come on, this is ridiculous. So, on of the sources suggests that the Swiss-based crypto wallet firm currently caters to over 2.5 million users across 170 countries, with US, Canada, and Australia having the most number of users. The company website mentions that the wallet currently supports Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ether, and several other ERC20 tokens. Adam Trademan, BRD's co-founder and CEO, commented on the partnership saying, quote, "It is our plan to have BRD be the cheapest and easiest place to buy XRP moving forward." And then the piece continues. In this regard, Ripple's official announcement stated, "Today we're pleased to announce that Spring has invested in BRD, one of the oldest and most respected crypto wallets in the industry. BRD leverages the possibilities of cryptocurrencies offered by giving consumers complete control over their own money in their non-custodial wallets." So there you go, real-world adoption here. As per the official source, this aspect could lead to new kinds of decentralized finance services, such as decentralized banking, lending, and peer-to-peer transactions that require no intermediaries and work best on fast, reliable, and open source ledgers like XRP. So the biggest question is, why did the article begin by stating BRD, a cryptocurrency wallet, has reportedly received? Because typically when people say reportedly, that indicates that this is indeed unconfirmed. It's not unconfirmed. This is fact. Oh, Crypto Media, I heart you so much. That's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That'd be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!